by the name of Apple, and the young guy's name is Steve Jobs, comes to visit. Okay? And he's taken on the tour of Xerox PARC, and he's shown this and that and the other. And finally, they bring him into the room where the Alto is, their personal computer, and they're showing him out how the graphical user interface works. You know, comes from a company where they've just made, I think, the Apple II, and that was a traditional computer where if you wanted to do something, you entered in a command on the command line, and you hit, you know, F6 or whatever it was, and that thing happened. And then they showed them, no, it's way easier. We've got this thing called a mouse, and we move it on the cursor on the screen, and we click on icons, and lo and behold, the same functions happen way more easily. And he looks at this, and it's like the scales fall from his eyes. I mean, he's just completely blown away, and he starts jumping up and down and charging around the room and waving his hands in the air and saying, this is the future of personal computing. I can't believe it. It's a revolution. And he looks at me like, why haven't you taken this to market? And they kind of, you know, these guys are PhDs in computer science. Like, what's a market? And he runs out to the parking lot, and he jumps in his, I'm sure it was a VW Beetle, and drives as fast as he can down the 101 back to Cupertino or wherever, and goes to see his engineers and says, stop everything, right? They were working on the Lisa at that point. Remember the Lisa? And the Lisa was another traditional computer with the command line. He said, no, throw that out. We're starting over. I just saw the most amazing thing. We're going to have these things called icons on the screen and a thing called a mouse, and we're going to use that to click on the icon, and that's going to be the future. And they said, well, wait a minute. You know, we have sunk $1 gajillion in this thing we're working on. We've been doing it for years. You can't stop and start over. It's like, yes, we can. Right? But you told us to do it. He said, I was wrong, right? Do it this way. And then he gets in his car and he goes into Palo Alto and he meets with the industrial designer they've been working with. And he's like, I need you to make me a mouse. And of course, no one's heard of the mouse. And the guy thinks, you want a mouse? What do you mean you want a mouse? He's like, no, not this kind of mouse. You know, this kind of mouse. It's like, I want you to make me this thing that I can use to click on icons on the screen. And he says, all right. And he says, only the one I saw at Xerox PARC costs $15, or costs $300 and lasts for like 6 months. Mine's got to cost $15 and lasts for 2 years. He says, okay. He goes off and he like works away, and I think for $100,000 creates a mouse that'll cost $15 and work for 2 years. And Jobs takes that mouse and takes the new graphical user interface that was created by his software team, and that becomes the basis of the Mac, right? Of the most iconic product one of the most iconic products in the history of Silicon Valley, and certainly the product that launches Apple onto this extraordinary trajectory.